Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. My name's Adam. SNS 40. Man, we made it to 40 episodes. Can't believe it's already been this many, man. It's been a fun year for me. SNS 40. I hope that this continues. I've been having a lot of fun with it. And as long as you guys enjoy watching this format, I'll keep doing them. And I believe everybody seems to be enjoying it. SNS has become a nice fun video that I look forward to making every week. Actually, it's a good time for me to throw in viewer appreciation mail, new tools, shenanigans going on around the shop. I mean, just all kind of stuff. That's why I like it, man. We can kind of throw a lot of different things in there for you and have a good time and sit back and enjoy watching. So this week I've decided I'm going to make two parts to SNS 40. We'll have a part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is going to be viewer appreciation mail. I've actually got quite a bit this week, man. We've got 4 different packages that showed up. Lots of really cool stuff from a lot of great guys. And so we're going to go into all those. We've also got some new tool acquisitions that I want to show you. Some really nice stuff. Just a couple things. And we'll pull those over here and check them out. I want to share that with you. I'm also going to show you an indicator that I have, and this is in response to Tom Lipton over at Ox Tool. In his last meatloaf, he kind of called me out on he received a nice indicator, so he wanted to see what I got. So let's we'll pull one of mine out and see what we got. Okay, compare. And part 1 is also going to include a little bit of shop improvement that I've done around here. I'm going to show you my mag drill over on the welding table. I wanted to get my little Marvel shear bolted down, so we pulled the mag drill out, used that. And I also made another trip from my old shop and gathered up more materials and tools and all kind of little things and brought down here, and I've been trying to stash them away and go through things, that kind of stuff. So I gave you a little peek at that. So that's going to be part 1. And so part 2, I went ahead and got the coolant pump reinstalled on the Monarch lathe, and I believe everything went well for me. Had one little hiccup there in the middle that we had to contend with, but I believe we got her knocked out. So a lot of video to share with you, and I haven't been able to spend any time making some other machining videos for you here lately, you know, the past 2 weeks. So I've got plenty of video to share with you. So we're going to go ahead and like I said, the second part will just probably be about the reinstallation of the coolant pump over on the Monarch and testing it out and seeing how it works. And if I have anything else I can think of to throw in there for you, I'll sure do it. And so I think that's going to be about it this week, guys. I wanted to give a quick little shout out to John Mills, Double Boost. John, I want you to know that I have not forgot about you, buddy. I promised you an indicator set a while back. I still have it, and I've got a couple other things for you too. I just have not been able to make it down to the post office and get that stuff mailed out to you. So I haven't forgot about you, and I will be sending you a package as soon as I can, okay? I just wanted John to know that. I haven't forgot about him. So, all right, guys, I think that's going to be about it. We'll go ahead and get to our viewer appreciation mail and check out some goodies and all kinds of cool stuff. So, hope you enjoy, and thank you everybody for all the continued support, and thank you to all my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy. All right, so our first package comes to us from Paul Compton, and he is from Harpenden, England. And Paul Compton also has a channel. You can check him out. Got all kind of cool stuff, motorcycle stuff going on over there, machine work, hobby work. And Paul's already sent me a couple packages in the past, and he put together another package for me. So got all kind of cool stuff in here. And so the first thing is, he says he's been playing with a 3D printer at work, making lots of test prints, so I thought I'd try some GoPro accessories. Surface finish on the handle isn't that good, but it's quite functional. I know what setting needed change to improve it. It's printed in PLA, a biodegradable plastic derived from plant starch. And that's this guy right here. Pretty neat. This is the first time I've ever actually had anything in my hands that was done on a 3D printer. He's got the end machined like cut like the GoPro style tongue and groove system. You put the nut on this side and you have your stud that goes through, your bolt. Very cool. So we got us a cool little handle that we can attach to one of the cameras whenever I want to make some, self shots, walking around or whatever. So cool deal, Paul. Thank you. All right, we've also got a couple of tubes of LanoGuard right here. We've got 2 of them. And what he says about LanoGuard is, he said, you complain from time to time about surface rust problems, and this may be the answer, particularly for measuring tools. Yes, I do have a rusting problem, and that's just because we have high humidity here where I live in Florida. A little goes a long way. Use a dab on a finger and rub over the surface to be protected. Let me know how it works in your climate. I think James Kilroy has a similar problem, so please pass along the second pot to him. So James, you get one. So next time we do some exchanges, I'll send you one of these LanoGuards. And it has the look of grease. Got a little different smell to it. So another cool thing to try for the rusting problems. All right, there's also a couple more things in here that I'll share with you. He threw some of these pieces of rubber tubing in here also. He says that they make good isolation mounts for different things. I might be able to adapt this in the camera mount system somehow. So he cut me 4 pieces of those. And he also sent me, recently I told you I bought an external hard drive for the computer here. That's helped out tremendously. So he sent me another thing here that I can use for my video storage. That's this guy right here. Backup data entry. Look at that guy, man. That's a floppy disk for you. Whenever I was a kid in elementary school, I actually remember these things. And this is what I always remember as a floppy disk. And then I guess shortly after this is when they went to the little smaller, more compact floppy disks, they called them. I thought they were a hard disk, but anyway, so he was having a little fun with me, and all the guys on the channel were having this huge discussion about how these days it's so ridiculous how cheap you can buy so much storage these days, and how back in the days of things like this would cost so much money and you have such little storage. So I guess that's his date right there. I'm assuming 3/23/1984. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen one of those since I was a little kid. So that was a good laugh, Paul, man. All right, we've also got a couple more things here, and this is something that Paul had emailed me about. And what this is there's a couple books here called the Hairy Dieters, and I believe these guys are from his area, his country, and they've had success with losing a lot of weight by healthy cooking and things like that. And so here's the other book right here. So this will be pretty cool to look through and see what kind of recipes we can find. I've always been a big person, always have, even whenever I was in shape. I actually used to be in really good shape back in the 2000s. I went to the gym and worked out every single day and ran, and I had lost a lot of weight, and the time come where I just kind of fell out of it, got tired of it, and I started gaining weight. And it's tough, man. It's tough to maintain, and you've got to be dedicated. It's like a lifestyle change when you're somebody that's my size, that you want to lose a bunch of weight and stay off of it. So, you know, I'm guilty as most people with what I eat, but I don't think that I go overboard. I don't eat a whole lot of sweets and you know, junk food and that kind of stuff, but whenever I eat a hearty meal, it's a nice hearty meal. But anyway, so he wanted me to have these books, and it might be able to help me out, and I'm sure it will if I go by some of these recipes. So this will be a good read. I can't wait to look through there, and maybe me and Elena can find some good recipes in here that we can cook for us for dinner. So thank you, Paul. Very nice package. Some really cool stuff. I especially really like this little handle, man. That's pretty neat. And I've got an idea for later making something like this that's longer. I think guys call it a boom mount, that you attach your GoPro on the end, and you know, like you're out riding a boat or anything like that, you know, you can hold it and have your camera like way out here, you know, looking out. So that's really cool. That'll come in handy too, man. So again, thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate it. Okay. All right. Our second item. This comes to us from James Kilroy over in Vicksburg, Mississippi. I think a lot of you guys know James by now, and if you don't, check him out on YouTube. He's got a channel called James Kilroy. Does all kind of cool projects, and got a big old K&T mill and a nice big shaper. He's always got some interesting projects going on. James and I have become pretty good friends, and he's been so kind enough to send me some more goodies here. And it says Niagara Cutter on the box, and what we got here is 2 milling cutters. And I don't think I have any of this style right here, but what you got is a right and a left hand. So I'll go ahead and unwrap this one real quick. It's still in the paper here. And I'm assuming that James found these on eBay. I always call him the eBay king because he's always out there finding those awesome deals on cutters on eBay. So he sent me this pair of cutters, and they are 3.5 inches in diameter, and the width is 400 thousandths, a 1-inch arbor. It's a right hand and a left hand, so you could actually stack them. You could stack them like that on your arbor, and you have a right and a left hand cut, or you can just use one at a time if you want to. So, you know, a 400 thousandths cutter isn't I don't believe it's real common, but it's still a milling cutter, and you can use it for lots of different jobs. You know, you can take a cut with something like that and step it over and keep going with it. So I think that would be a pretty interesting setup right there. Having both of those stacked and use them looks pretty aggressive, don't it? Looks like a big tractor tire when they're stacked together. So anyway, I want to thank James for the K&T love, as he likes to call it. They will go in the stash of all the other cutters, and I hope one day that I get to use them. So I appreciate you sending them to me, James. All right. Our next gift here comes to us from Mike Clayton, and he is from Christchurch, New Zealand. Another package from New Zealand. This is great, man. He's sent me a nice, useful tool for the shop here. I'll go ahead and open her up and let you see what it is. Also got a little note here. We've got a coax indicator. Now I actually do have a coax indicator already, and I've used it, showed you in my videos, and it's basically the same thing as this one here. Alright, and if you look closely, you can kind of see that we do have one issue to deal with, and that's this piece here, this joint that the rods go into. You can see that it's bent a little bit, and that is the same exact problem that I had on my coax indicator. And mine had actually broke right there where it bolts in there at the bottom. Mine had snapped off. So actually it was me and my dad had actually brazed that back together and dressed it and fit it back in there, but it never was perfect. It was still a little off, a little crooked, didn't fit exactly, but it's always worked and I've used it. So what I'd like to do is see if I can't straighten this in here and get it lined up like it's supposed to be, and we'll put this coax indicator to use also. It does include all of the different feeler rods for the inside and outside. That's the arm that goes to the side so you can dog it off, and it does come with the spring-loaded center there for lining up punch marks and things like that. So very nice tool, Mike. Thank you very much for sending it to me. This is a very useful tool to have in the shop, and I'm going to appreciate having this one also, man. So thanks again. Before I cut you off, he did write me a little short note here, and he said, Adam, here's the item I was talking about. Hope it's useful. It might save you having to go looking for your mirror and having to bend your neck around the odd angles. All the best to you, Atlanta, and not forgetting Stella. Give her a pat for me. We'll make sure we give Stella a pat for you, man. Thanks again. Okay, our last viewer appreciation box to go in. This comes to us from Ryan Washala. He's from Downs, Illinois. He sent a nice little box of goodies here. I'll pull some of them over. We got this guy here. Nice little Armstrong tool holder. We've got some end mills. Still in good shape. That's 1 1/4 right there. This looks like a 1 inch. It's 1 1/8, but it looks like it's been ground a couple times. So we got a couple end mills here. And we got this. Now this is very interesting. It's an Armstrong tool, and it's the number S-52. I don't have one like this, and I don't think I've ever seen one until Ryan had sent this one to me. So I haven't done any research on this, so the guys that might know a little more about it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe what this is like one of those gooseneck spring tools. You put your tool bit in here. All right, so you got a screw down here at the bottom. You can put your tool in here and tighten it up any position that you want to. I believe it does hold a 5/16 square tool bit. And I've seen guys like Tom, he's made one that has the same configuration to it, and it's great for machining things like a large radius, things like that where you experience a lot of chatter in your machining. A tool like this helps eliminate your chatter. But what I think's going on here is that if you don't want to use it for the anti-chatter setup, you can tighten up this screw down here, and on the back you've got 3 divots that's drilled into it, so that will screw into that divot, and you can snug it up. There's a little hole in this where you can put a rod in there and just kind of give it a little tension. So this supports the bottom of it and keeps it from trying to shake, that kind of thing. So we'll have to try this thing out, man. Never used one before. Said I've never had one, so we're gonna have to give this a shot and see what kind of results we get out of it. I do like the Armstrong stuff, and I've actually got a cabinet slap full of Armstrong tools, man. I mean, I've got a pile of them. A lot of stuff that my dad had collected, my granddad brought home. Some of the big ones, down to the small ones. And I've even got a bunch of great big lantern tool posts also. So we used to have a big shaper at my old shop, and I think that's what a lot of those bigger tools were used on. So anyway, that's pretty cool right there. Got a box of cards. We'll go into that in a sec. And then he also sent me this. This is a calendar that he made himself, and it's full of pictures of different things that he is, his own machine work, the pictures that he has taken. A lot of really cool pictures in here. And I can't remember who he sent one of these to somebody else now, and I can't remember who it was, but I know somebody else had opened this up and shown the calendar that he made. So a lot of cool pictures. That's where he was doing, looks like he was grinding his jaws, looks like a 4-jaw chuck. There's some chip control there, some indicating using a central, I believe like a back plunge style indicator, a drill. So very cool, man. Nice calendar. We'll hang it up out here in the shop, probably over here by my cabinet. All right, so 2 more items that he sent right here. Now these are really these are really awesome. I want you to check that out. I've never seen one of these before until he sent it to me. A Starrett belt buckle. It says Starrett American Made on the back of it right there. And on the front, Starrett Made in USA. Very cool. That's just going to be something really cool to have around here on the shelf, you know, to kind of show off to people when they come in. I don't wear a big belt buckle like this, and I don't think that I want to. So I think this would be a lot better suited to have, you know, up here on my shelf so that people can see it, because that's really neat. I'd like to know when they actually had these things made. I imagine they were something that they handed out, you know, as like a promotional item. So I imagine it's got a little bit of age to it, but you never know. It even says right there, Made in USA, American made. Very cool. That's a really cool gift, Ryan. But we got one more too. This is something that I've always wanted. I've never bought myself. But you got another little Starrett item right here, and I believe what this is a money clip. That's what it looks like to me, is a money clip. And it's got 1880, 1955 on there. So I'm assuming that was their, they made this in 1955. Probably also to hand out as a little promotional item to customers. So very, very cool, man. Of course, I've never seen one of these either. So I guess Ryan knows that I'm a Starrett tool junkie, as most of you probably know by now. I love Starrett tools. So this is great, man. Even this, I don't think that I'll end up using this, because I don't want to put any wear on it, you know, and have it down in my pocket and start getting scratched up and scratch the paint off and things like that. So we may just keep this as a little memento and put it up here on my little shelf, and I'll see it every time I come in my shop. So lots of really cool stuff, Ryan. Really appreciate it. Thank you for sending them to me. You kind of outdid yourself on these little Starrett things right here, man. Very cool. So thank you very much. So here's my new tools that I told you that I got this week. I got a coworker at work. His dad actually passed away this year, back in the summertime, and he and his siblings have been going through his garage. He's got a workshop, and they've been going through trying to you know, basically coming out of the state. And he told me that he found some Starrett tools there, and he knows that I'm a Starrett junkie, so he grabbed these and brought them home with him, and along with some other items, and asked would I be interested in them. And I told him sure, I would love to have them. So me and him worked out a little deal, and these were, there was some other stuff, but these were like, you know, the hot ticket items. So the first one you guys probably all recognize. Got a Starrett back plunge indicator, a number 196, and it does work good. It's in good shape, nothing wrong with it at all. And down there in the box there's a little envelope there, that's got, I believe it's 2 more of these tips. One of them is like a big button tip. I believe there's 2 button tips in that bag in there. So this was the first thing. Nice little back plunge indicator. It says Wholesale Tools on it. All right, so we got the back plunge indicator, and then we also got this. This is really cool here. They have a brand new, I don't think it's ever been used, one of your Starrett Tremels, and this is a, I think it's called a, it's a 9-inch, if I remember correctly. I looked it up a while back whenever he had talked to me about it, and I didn't look it up before I brought it out and showed it to you, but C251A is the Starrett part number if you want to check that out. But it's still got the oil on it from Starrett. It's actually kind of dried up. Got this beam has a satin chrome finish on it. But it appears to be new, never used. So let's see, that's yeah, number C-251. Like I said, I believe this is called a 9-inch Trammel. All right, you got the additional attachments here, the different feelers. You got 2 of the points, and you got two that have the little bend on it. So that'll make a nice addition to the box right there, man. I've actually got one already. It was my dad's, but my dad's is I don't know what model it is because I didn't look at it, but it's a lot bigger than this one here. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I was kind of excited about getting these, and I was glad that he thought about me whenever he was going through his dad's stuff. So there you go. All right, so in Tom's last meatloaf, he received a new indicator and called me out. Wanted to see if I had one bigger. You know, me and Tom's always had this friendly little thing going on, and he calls it the big tool slap down. And it's always just been it's not that we try to, I think after a while we did start messing with each other, but in the beginning it was just kind of funny about, hey, I think I got one that's a little bit bigger than that. And it started like with I believe it was the tap wrenches that I had shown in the video and some other things. You know, it's just all for fun, guys. That's all it is. We love having fun, and that's what these videos are about too, you know, having fun. So he received a nice Ames indicator, and by the way, all the shenanigans that was going on over there, you guys were kind of throwing them off, saying that no, that was James that had the Ames indicator. Well, I have an Ames indicator also, and it was my dad's, and I actually sent it to Long Island Indicator Service to have repaired, and I showed that in a video. I guess you guys must have forgot about it. Let me go grab it real quick and I'll show you. Okay, so this is for the guys that forgot that I had an Ames indicator. It's that one right there, back plunge indicator. This was my dad's very first indicator. It was a complete set, and it was my granddad had bought it for him and give it to him whenever he started machining when he was 18. So I had Long Island Refurb Assist. They put a new crystal on it, and I haven't even used it yet. So maybe one of these days we'll pull it over here to the mill or something and put it to some use. So, all right, so that's not what this part is about really though, but I wanted to kind of refresh some of you guys on that. So this indicator that Tom got is an Ames, and he measured it, and I want to say he said it was 3.5 inches, 3 3/4, something like that. It's got about a 4-inch travel on it. It is a metric indicator, so I don't recall what the total reading was on it, but he says about 4-inch travel. All right, so I dug around, and this is the biggest indicator that I have. This is a compact, and I actually acquired this one this past summer in a nice little tool trade. It needs a little bit of repair, but it does work. But it's missing the piece on the top there. and it's also missing the tip, and the crystal's real dirty, and I know that it needs to be gone into. So let's see how big this one is right here. I'm going to call it 3 1/4. That measures 3.222 right there. So let's just say 3 1/4. That's your bezel diameter, 3 1/4. But so evidently that's smaller than Tom's, and it's not as long. So I think he got me there, Tom. You got a bigger indicator than I do. But I do have something else that's close, and if you guys were watching my videos in the past, you might have seen where he sent me this. Starrett 4-inch travel indicator. Nice piece right there. Me and him did a little horse trading. I believe I sent him a 12-inch machinist level and traded him for this. But so this is the closest thing that I have as far as the reach that the new indicator you have, Tom. You know, so this is a 4-inch travel Starrett dial indicator right here. So we got you real close to the length of travel, but as far as the size of it, the diameter, I think you got me beat. So score 1 for Tom, huh? Well, I still got a couple more tricks, man, and we might have to pull a couple more things out of the magic workbench over here and let you see, and see if I can come back with a rebuttal. So anyway, there you go. There's A-Bomb's biggest indicator right there. Nice compact. By the way, I believe Long Island Repairs, they actually sell compact brand. So I'm going to send them a couple pictures of this one day and see if they can get this one fixed up for me. That'd be a nice indicator to have around the shop. Hey, bonus video. We always like that, right? So this is a job I was doing at work. I had a couple steel flanges that I had to drill and tap for 2-inch MPT, 2-inch pipe thread. So I decided to use the bore mill for this job here. And as you can see, I'm using the bore mill. I'm drilling a hole here. Got it clamped up to 2 of my angle plates. But what I decided to do was, instead of trying to use a lathe to do this, I just wanted to use a tap. I had ended up building an adapter to hold the 2-inch tap, and it's something that I wanted to try. I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not. So here's the boring bar, just getting it bored to size. I believe the tap size was 2.202, something like that, if I recall right. So there it is, boring at the size. And this next clip, this is the adapter that I made. I used a piece of 3-inch 1045 chrome rod. There's the tap installed. I used 2 set screws to drive it on the square. I built it to fit an 1 1/4 end mill holder, and the big one above it is one I wanted to use, but it's bent. That's what I'm showing you there. It's bent, won't work. So I had to use my 1 1/4 to 5 Morse taper adapter. So here it is, set up, ready to try. I've never done this before. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I was thinking it was going to twist that shank right on off in that end mill holder. I believe I was running about 16 RPM. Had it in very low gear, getting it oiled up, and just running it in by hand. The spindle on this works just like a regular knee mill. You can move it in and out, and once the tap starts cutting, it pulls itself into the part there. So it's moving right along. It's doing its thing. Sorry about the shaky cam, guys. You know, I filmed that with my iPhone. I'm trying to work the controls and oil it at the same time and get some video for you to see. But it actually worked out, man. It cut the hole. I mean, it tapped it, and I kept expecting that little 1 1/4 shank to snap off because of the pressure, but it didn't. It did it like a trooper, man. It did its job. I'm just you see how much oil I'm using there. I'm just wanting to make sure that tap has got plenty of oil on it. I've got plenty of that, so I'm not worried about how much I use. But it's doing a good job, man. It's pulling itself in there and it's cutting it, and the machine's taking it. I never heard any binding or anything. I'm just trying to, you know, I'm looking behind it just to look at it and make sure everything was going all right. Put more oil on it and keep on going. I was trying to get down to about 1/3 of the tap left so I could check the fitting that's got a screw in there and make sure that it's gonna fit right. But I checked it and I needed to go a little bit further with it. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm going back into it and I'm going a little bit further. And typically you leave about, I don't know, 5, maybe 4 or 5 threads, anywhere between 4 and 6 threads maybe, and it'll cut usually about the right depth that you need. So coming back out, and here it is tapped, and I've got the fitting, and I'm going to screw it in by hand just to check the fit, and it worked. So there you go, man, the shop built 2-inch MPT adapter.
Hey guys, Adam and Elena here, showing y'all the new insert Mike Chipio sent me. I'm turning a 1045 steel, taking 1/8 depth of a cut, and feeding 15 thousandths per revolution. Ooh, look at her go. Isn't she sexy? Losing all those extra pounds to become a 15 thousandths per revolution. Me? Yow. Stupid.
Been doing some more cleanup from the old shop. This has been a long process, and I've showed you some clips of it before in the past of going down to the old shop. I'm just finally, I'm getting through it and just trying to get the last few things that I know I want to keep. And there's even more, there's still more stuff down there. It's just, you know, I'm out of room. I don't have a place to keep storing things, so I'm just trying to get things that I know that I can put away. So anyway, I thought I would show you a couple of the things that I pulled out of the shop today. Nice array of different things. Look here, lead knockers, lead. These were some weights that Granddad had made for something, and tools, all kind of just mix and match. That was one of our tool boxes, just got a bunch of different mix and match stuff in there. Look at there, box full of metallizing powders, and some of these are busted. That one's busted there. These are Utiloy. All the little small bottles are Utiloy. Something that I haven't shown you guys yet, but I got a Utiloy torch. It's kind of like brazing. So that was down there hidden in the tool crib. There's something I thought old Don Koskett might get a kick out of. It's a little 3.2 ounce 2-cycle engine oil from Stihl. It's never been opened. It's still got the aluminum foil on it. I've held on to it for all these years. This is something that Dad had bought back in the 80s, and for some reason this one never got used. That's pretty neat. Some more tools, impacts. Anybody need some plastic? Lots of UHMW, nylon. I forget what this black stuff is. It's got a very soft durometer to it. Lots of phenolic. That's a big chunk of phenolic. There's actually a bunch of phenolic down in here. Smaller pieces of phenolic. sheets of phenolic. I've got more, I'm sorry, UHMW. Got a ton of that stuff. That was an old fan that Granddad used to use on the patio, and I'm thinking about maybe bolting it to one of my windows to use as a ventilation fan. So yeah, that's about it. So as I said, you know, it's an ongoing thing, and it's not fun, but I got light at the end of the tunnel now. It's getting close to being done, and just trying to grab things that I know is useful that you don't want to just toss away. So anyway, thought I'd share that with you guys. It's Saturday, and that's what I did this morning. Now I've got to unload it all again and find a place to put it. All right, so what I'm doing here, I've got, this is my mag drill, and what I'm doing, I'm going to mount this marble shear over here next to my arbor press. This is a neat old tool that's always been in our shop, and I use it every now and then to cut shim stock or something like that, some thin gauge steel. And I've had it sitting here next to the arbor press for a long time, but usually when I need it, I'll put a couple C-clamps on it and just kind of hold it to the table. But I've been doing some organizing and cleaning up, and I want to go ahead and bolt it to the table. So I've already transfer punched the 4 marks that I need. I'm just going to drill a hole, and I'm just going to bolt it to the table. And I've been going through, these are all toolboxes from my old shop. I've been going through and getting them reorganized again and cleaned up, and they're going to sit right here. So I'll show you that whenever I get done with it. So I haven't showed the mag drill, so let's put it to some use, and I'll show you how it works. All right, I'm going to use my center point to find the punch marks. These back two here is going to be a little close, but I should be able to manage getting it done. Using that point to kind of center it up, and then here's the switch. The light indicates that the mag's on. You ain't gonna move it. I'm gonna drill it for 3/8 bolts and just bolt it down. Thing makes drilling plates so much easier. Alright, you ready to move it? Turn the switch off. Let's come back here to this one. Good. Alright, I got her bolted down there. Now I gotta worry about clamping more. So you see what I'm doing with my toolbox. I'm just kind of sitting there. Now what I had to do is to enable to use this, I gotta slide this box over a little bit so the handles are back far enough. That ain't no problem because it's kind of rare that I do use this. But got a piece of 1/8 thick aluminum right here, and we'll make a little cut on it just to demonstrate how it works. It's a nice little tool. It's very handy to have around here. This does that aluminum good. Let me find a piece of sheet metal. Like this is some brass shim stock. You know, you got to cut some pieces. You can come over here just real quickly. Snap a piece off of it. So, things finally bolted down. I'm happy about that. Put the toolbox over like I had it. So, I've been waiting to bring all this stuff down here just because I'm out of room in my shop. I'm constantly reorganizing and moving stuff to try to get things in a better position and fit more stuff in here. But these tools here were my dad's. He had bought these probably right after I started working for him back in the late 90s. And it's just a Craftsman socket set with wrenches. And then this red box here was just, I had actually bought this from somebody that came up and was looking for a little bit of money, and it was full of tools, so I bought it from him. I think I gave him like $50 for it or something. And it's just a cheap toolbox. The bottom drawer, it's all messed up, but there's plenty of good usable tools in here that you don't want to throw away or discard. So I went through all this and got all the junk out of it, and now it's just got tools in there. That drawer is full of all kind of old wrenches. There's a lot of old wrenches right here. But old screwdrivers, and then I've got plenty of junk drawers that I kind of still need to go through, but you know, so this will work for me right here. And it's another spot on the table where I can quickly come and grab a socket or a wrench or something like that when I'm working over here. So that's about it. There's some of my air grinders, and I've also got another little arbor press right here. And I don't think I'm going to mount it, but it's a little #1 Famco, and this was also my dad's. I want to mount it on the bench, but I really don't have another spot for it. You know, unless I have it over here in the way on the side of the table. So I don't know. Just for now, that's gonna sit right there. And anyway, I'm just sharing what I'm doing today. Just trying to get some more stuff done. So time to find some more stuff to get into. Alright, finally got that chip pan cleaned out. I got to do some sweeping now. Get all these chips up out of the floor. And I'll check out the sump. Alright guys, back underneath the Monarch, and I'm going to get this ready for the pump to reinstall the pump back on the machine here. And I know a lot of guys recommended that I get underneath here and clean this and paint it and everything, but I'm just not going to right now. I really don't have the time. I'm just gonna clean this platform here that the pump goes on, and get this old hose off and get this out of here. But that's all I'm gonna do. I just don't have enough time. I just got too many other things to worry about right now than getting all this cleaned up and everything. This is some of my fast evaporating solvent degreaser that I use. Yeah, a lot of muck right there. This is a nicely casted tray that Monarch did. You've got a raised boss here that the pump sits on, and then like a catch tray around it to catch any leaking. That's the gist of what I'm doing here right now. So about got it cleaned off, and I got to try to get this stupid hose off here, and I don't see a clamp on it. Alright, looks like it must thread on. This might be some kind of piece that was crimped onto the hose and then threaded on there. So that's the only thing I can think. Come on, you bastard. Get your ass off there. There it is. That's why I couldn't feel a bolt head on there. I don't think I've ever seen a hose clamp like that. There it is. It was clamped on there though. Anyway, alright. Now I need to clean that a little bit. Alright, here's the hose that goes from the discharge side. This is where it hooks into the back of the pump, and it just goes underneath the lathe, and it hooks in here, and this hose is what comes around to the coolant spout on the back of the carriage here. And I neglected to get to this point yet and see what size this hose is, but I don't have any hose this size. I've got to get some. So what I want to do is try to disconnect it from this, and this will be the replacement piece that we need. That the 1-inch hose, I believe. So that looks like a different size. Look at that hose that they used, man. Still coolant in it. I don't know what the deal is. That's 1 inch on that end. That looks like maybe 3/4. I might be having to make an adapter. Dang it. I may not be getting this far tonight. Might have to wait and find something else. So basically I need to adapt it what looks like 1/2 inch to 3/4. Alright, I went ahead and just cut that end off this hose right here. This hose isn't in bad shape. I mean, it's still usable, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it anyway. So what I'm going to be having to do is adapt it from 1/2 inch to my 1 inch hose, which is this one here, the new one. So I'm gonna have to do a little research and see if I can buy me an adapter, and if I can't find what I need, then I'll just have to make something. You know, we can take a piece of stock and machine an adapter. It doesn't have to have the barbs on it, but you know, you can machine that in there. But either way, you know, I can make something, but I'm gonna see if something's commercially available. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this pump mounted up here. I went ahead and cut me a short piece for here, and I went ahead and attached the discharge hose because it was going to be behind the pump. It would be very hard to get to. So, and I've already got it wired up too. I just finished wiring it up, and I actually turned the power on and bumped it, and you can barely hear this thing running. It's so quiet. So it's hooked up. So let's see if I can get it in place. This thing is pretty sporty. Get that one back there. All right, those are tight. Okay, let's see if I can get this suction hose on now. Now, I thought I had a bunch of hose clamps. I got a drawer with a bunch of hose clamps, but couldn't find hardly any of the size that I need. So I've got this type of clamp here that I'm hoping that I can reach in there and hook onto there. Like that. Okay, I think that's good. Trying to flatten it out a little bit there, but we'll see if it works. All right, I think that's good. All right, well, discharge hose goes back there, and then the 1/2 inch line hooks into the end of it and runs up, comes up to the carriage. So there we go. And like I said, it does run because I bumped it just to see. So the test will be if it pumps and it doesn't drip. All right, so take a good look. This may be the last time you look underneath this lathe here, unless I got to pull this pump back out again, which I hope I don't. All right, so I want to try to get this thing together tonight. So what I decided to do, that's that brass adapter that was connecting the two hoses. I'm going to go ahead and make one of these. I found a piece of 1¼ inch hex stock under my bench. So this will clean up to make a 1 inch barb like I need for one side. So I'm going to cut a piece of this off, and I'll turn one end to like that, and then turn the other end for a 1 inch barb. And that should work and get me back going again. So let's make up an adapter real quick. guys, there's the adapter that I made. Hope you enjoyed seeing that. I just banged this part out, tried to bust through it really quick. I added a little bit extra length there just to kind of give me something extra to hold on to, okay? All we need is just a connection to adapt the two hoses, that's it. So, I think I made that tight enough. Okay. I just copied close to the diameter that was on the barbs on the pump itself. And then the same thing on this end, I just kind of copied the one that I had taken off there. All right, we gotta. Okay. I think we got an adapter. All right, guys. All right, the hose is hooked up, so I need to mix up another 5-gallon bucket of coolant, dump it in here, and then we'll give it a test and see if it works and check it for leaks. All right, I got a fresh bucket of coolant there. By the way, I know it's been a long time since I mentioned it. What I use is called Mobile Cut 102. I've had it since I was working in my old shop, so I'm just going to use it up. You know, maybe find something different after it's gone. Okay, I think that's going to be real close to being full. I know it should be plenty. I might add a little bit more later. Now, I still want to redo this here. Basically, just get a new valve. I need to get another valve, but I think I had another leak. I can't remember now. But this flexible nozzle here is actually all brass, and I didn't even realize that until Gil had pointed that out. So I might just keep this part right here because it still works good. So let's give it a shot and see if we get any coolant. All right, I hear the motor running. It might have to prime also. I dealt with this last time, getting the air out of it. There it is. All right, so here's one of our leaks right here. It's actually on this. The flexible hose there is where it's leaking, so I may end up having to change that. All right, guys, we got it running. I had to get it to prime and get the air out of the system. Air kept trying to trap down in it, but I finally got it going. And now you can see I've got another pretty good significant leak right here, and that's on this spout. I think all I gotta have to do with that, clean it real good, and I should be able to silver solder this joint right here. and seal that up. I think that's all that's wrong. It just needs a little solder done to it. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and buy a new valve first, and then whenever I get a new valve, then I'll get that soldered up and we'll get all that fixed at one time. So we got a pretty good flow, and I've been looking. I don't have any leaks. The hose on the back side, the one on the bottom that I connected together, it's not leaking. So we got a good coolant system again on the Monarch. I'm just happy to get this done. It's another project I've been wanting to get done and get finished so I can move on to something else. So, all right guys, that's about it. See you later.